Hello and welcome back to the Damon Rowan podcast. I'm Damon Rowan, and this week I'm going to be covering the topic of cardio and explaining the benefits of cardio, the most common systems of cardio used. So that's both LISS, which is low intensity steady state training, and HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. The different training styles that you can apply to your cardio and help you figure out on what type of cardio best suits you and your fitness goals. So getting into it, the benefits of cardio is first off, and explaining the purpose of cardio and its benefits is going to give you a better scope of perspective on how and why cardio is important for both maintaining your health and fitness, and why you should consider including it regularly in your exercise or fitness routine. And so here I'm just going to list off some of the main benefits of cardio that helps you with your health and fitness. So first off is that cardio is an aerobic exercise, meaning it works and improves your cardiovascular conditioning, which strengthens your heart and lungs, and they're of course two major organs that we use for staying alive and ensuring that we're healthy. But also if you improve the health of these, then you're improving your quality of life as a whole, because they're working more efficiently to keep you alive and keep you fit and healthy as a whole. The second one is it improves your physical conditioning. So obviously performing cardio, like any exercise, helps you to burn up more calories and speeds up your metabolism. And this not only helps if your goal is fat loss, but it'll also improve your body composition in encouraging a lean physique and helping you to maintain your ideal body weight. So if fat loss or improving your body composition is goals that align with yours, then make sure to include cardio in your regular exercise or fitness routine. That is definitely essential in improving those aspects. And the next benefit of cardio is it improves your overall health. So as I said, cardio improves your overall health in a number of ways, and if I were to elaborate on all of them, I'd be taking all day really, because there's so many of them. But here I'm just going to go over the main impacts on what cardio does and why it's important for maintaining good health. So first off, regular cardio improves your blood pressure and strengthens the immune system, and it does this through increasing the heart rate and blood circulation that you have. So this way it helps in allowing a greater flow of blood and oxygen flowing through your body, which then carries important nutrients through the blood and around the body to help maintain good health, along with greater flow of white blood cells to help protect against viruses and infections. Now, cardio also helps in stabilising and balancing your blood sugar levels, which helps in preventing things like type 2 diabetes. And cardio also helps in controlling your cholesterol levels. So this adds to cardio's contribution in maintaining good health overall, and is why you should include cardio regularly in your fitness routine. And the next one is that cardio improves your mental health. So finally, cardio is shown to improve your mental health in a number of ways that can make it an excellent form of managing your stress, your mood, and your mental health overall. And cardio is essentially going to help your mental health in a number of ways, such as helping you deal with depression and anxiety through the release of endorphins and other feel-good hormones like serotonin and dopamine. And these basically act to give you good feelings of like happiness, euphoria, and that sense of achievement you get after exercising or working out. Like you might have heard people who regularly run talking about the runner's high that they get, and this is basically the flood of hormones after cardio that you get. And cardio also is going to help you reduce stress in the same way as any of the feel-good hormones I mentioned act as mood stabilizers. And since you've already essentially stressed your body and mind somewhat from the exercise, your sense of perceived stress is going to be lowered for the rest of the day as a result of that. And regular cardio is also going to help in improving things like your sleep because of its calming effects post-exercise, along with regular exercise helping to better regulate your circadian rhythm. And while improving your sleep is a big bonus already, this is also going to further contribute to improving your mental health as you're allowing your body and mind to recover optimally after each day. And finally, regular cardio is also shown to improve your brain health, from building intelligence to strengthening your memory. Studies have shown actually the link between regular exercise in both stimulating the creation of new brain cells, and that's a process called neurogenesis that you can look into, along with strengthening the hippocampus, which is part of your brain responsible for memory and learning new things. And regular cardio is also shown to improve your creativity, and all of this once again ties back into improving your mental health, as the more your brain is functioning at its best, you'll then likely be functioning at your best too. So after going over the benefits of cardio, next is deciding on which type of cardio is best for you, and this really depends on your level of fitness and ability, along with deciding on which form of cardio best aligns with your lifestyle and goals. So to define cardio, it's essentially using exercise to keep your heart rate at least 50% of its maximum level. And what this does is it helps to develop a stronger cardiovascular system in your body, which means more oxygen is being delivered around your body, which, as I've mentioned, is not only great for maintaining long-term health, but it also makes your body much more efficient at building muscle and burning fat, both during exercise and even when you're inactive and not exercising. So when you're deciding on what form of cardio best suits you, it's usually a choice between either LISS or HIIT, and depending on your level of ability, LISS tends to be better suited to beginners, whereas HIIT is often better suited to more advanced and experienced trainers. And that said, either form of cardio isn't exclusive to your level of fitness and ability. However, each type does have certain aspects that are better suited to you depending on your situation. So say if you're looking to lose fat, there's arguments for both types, and if you're looking to build muscle and size, there's also arguments for both sides. And here I'm going to elaborate on the pros and cons, and hopefully you'll get a better insight in helping you decide which form of cardio is better suited to you, your lifestyle and your goals. So first off is LISS, or low intensity steady state cardio, and if you're only beginning and starting out into fitness and you aren't that experienced in that many styles of training, then the best form of cardio for you will likely be LISS, and this is because LISS is performed at a lower pace in comparison to HIIT and doesn't require as much skill or is as taxing on the body, making it ideal for people with less experience to still enjoy the benefits of regular cardio with less risk of getting injured or burning out. So LISS is also fairly generally performed in longer sessions than HIIT because it isn't as intense or stressful on the body, with LISS sessions usually lasting about 30 to 60 minutes. And this type of cardio usually involves exercises like walking, jogging, cycling, maybe swimming, and it can also be performed in the gym on certain machines like the rower, the crosswalker, stationary bike, the Stairmaster, and usually any machine that you can find in the cardio area, so long as it can be performed at a slower pace and more controlled pace. So maybe avoid things like the assault bike or air runner. I don't think you'd be able to last too long on those. They're quite intense. And a good rule of thumb in knowing what defines a LISS or low intensity steady state cardio session is that you should be able to hold a conversation comfortably while performing the exercise. So if you notice that you're becoming short of breath in that aspect, you're probably pushing it a bit too hard and you should slow the pace down a little more. And as I've mentioned about LISS, in that it suits beginners the best, as it isn't as taxing on the body, which is obviously especially important when you're only starting out and your body isn't accustomed to the stress of exercise at higher intensities. This kind of feeds into another benefit of LISS in that you can still engage in cardio regularly without running the risk of burning out or getting injured. So it also works as a form of exercise that allows you to keep consistent in doing it regularly, while also preparing you to take on more taxing forms of cardio in the future once you build up your endurance and overall fitness. So for an example of a LISS cardio routine, try to have 2 or 3 30 to 60 minute low intensity cardio sessions each week using one of the exercises I've mentioned. And if you have a gym membership, you can try some of the exercise machines I've mentioned also. And even just getting out for a walk or a jog when you can during the week will be a huge help in getting your cardio off the ground. So to keep things interesting, you can also mix and switch up things on what type of exercises you want to do each week. And that way staying consistent might not seem as difficult to know overall. And keeping mindful of your 10,000 steps each day is also a good way of helping you keep consistent with your LISS cardio too. So if you have a pedometer or some app on your phone or a smartwatch that measures your steps, definitely use that too. Now on the other end, as opposed to LISS, there's HIIT or high intensity interval training, and to define HIIT, it's a form of cardio where your intensity and output varies and mixes between bursts of high intensity, high output exercises, which are usually followed by short rest or active rest periods where you drop the intensity in order to recover for the next high output burst. Now, these sessions are typically much shorter than LISS sessions in that they're usually only between 5 and 20 minutes, and the length of the intervals is normally determined by your level of fitness and ability, and the exercises being performed and what best aligns with your goals. So to provide a comparison between HIIT and LISS, let's say you're using a treadmill, and for LISS you're likely to be performing a brisk walk or a light jog where you're running at a pace that you're able to hold a conversation comfortably without getting short of breath, and you're performing that jog at the same pace for about 30 to 60 minutes. Now on the other hand, say you're doing HIIT while you're using a treadmill, here you can apply the interval training in short high output bursts followed by relatively short active rest periods. So here you could be doing something like running in an all-out sprint for 30 seconds, followed by 60 seconds of an active rest where you're walking or jogging for that bit of time and allowing yourself to catch a breath for the next high output sprint. So here if you perform that interval loop for 15 minutes, you'll have repeated that sprint to jogging circuit about 10 times. And here you can probably understand why I'm saying LISS is better suited to beginners, as it wouldn't be sensible to make somebody who's relatively new to fitness to do all-out sprint intervals if their fitness level isn't prepared for that kind of stress, or they could risk getting injured or burning out. And that said, this isn't the only type of HIIT training, and there's other systems that you can use that would be better suited to beginners. If you'd like to try HIIT, this is only just an example to give you an idea of what both training styles would look like and how you can vary in between the two. So HIIT allows you to get more work done at a higher intensity as opposed to LISS because you're pushing yourself harder and maintaining a higher aerobic capacity for longer by having those short rests in between high output bursts. And HIIT also burns a lot of calories both during and after the cardio session, and this is because HIIT raises your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, meaning that your metabolism is going to be operating at a higher capacity and burning more calories than usual for up to about 24 hours after the session. And this is because you've worked out a capacity at or close to your 100% of your maximum output and effort, and because of this you've placed a lot of stress and strain on your body than you wouldn't have done if you were doing a 30-60 minute LISS session of low intensity that doesn't place a lot of stress on the body. And there's also studies that have shown that HIIT actually improves your insulin sensitivity, which is helpful in enabling fat loss, as people who are less insulin sensitive or insulin resistant people like diabetics, your body tends to have more trouble in losing fat. And HIIT sessions also cause a spike in the hormones epinephrine and norepinephrine, or adrenaline and noradrenaline as they're sometimes referred to as, which are the fight or flight hormones that drive the breakdown of fat and cause a greater degree of fat loss. Now, when deciding which form of cardio is best for you, it really depends on the aspects such as what suits your lifestyle, your goals, what results you want to see from your training, and probably more importantly is that choosing the one that you best enjoy, as that's largely going to be the decider in how consistent you keep up with your cardio overall. So here I'm going to weigh up the pros and cons of both HIIT and LISS, and first off, HIIT is much more time efficient in that it only takes about 10 to 20 minutes to get a lot of work done in comparison to LISS sessions that typically last 30 minutes to an hour, which makes HIIT a very accessible form of cardio if you struggle to get in cardio because of things like work, errands and other obligations. And you can also stick in short HIIT sessions after doing your resistance or weight training sessions too, so that can help you get a mix of both good like cardio and weights training into your routine while still being able to get in and out of the gym relatively quickly if you don't want to or can't afford to spend a lot of time in the gym. So HIIT is definitely more appealing in terms of time efficiency. And the next aspect would be considering both forms of cardio and their effects on things like fat loss. So here it really depends, as both forms of cardio are actually quite good for fat loss, so long as you perform them as they're meant to be used. So with that said, HIIT is again more efficient in that you're able to place a lot of stress on your body and fire up your metabolism much faster than you could with a LISS session. And as I've mentioned before, HIIT tends to have like that afterburner effect because you put like stress on your body, that you have an elevated metabolism for hours after the session, which continues to break down calories, which is impressive considering the session only takes about 5 to 20 minutes compared to LISS taking about 30 to 60 minutes and not having much of an afterburner effect because it wasn't as stressful on the body. Now, in terms of what cardio is better for muscle gains, again, HIIT probably wins out as you're placing more stress on the body through working at a higher intensity. And also, if you're considering like adding weights or weighted exercises like dumbbells, kettlebells, and whatever else you can like add into your HIIT sessions, you'll be getting more of that benefit out of it because your muscle gains obviously be improving and your body composition will be improving to a more toned athletic look, more stress you're placing on your body. So resistance training like with weights and dumbbells and all that will help with doing that. And on the other hand, LISS is not so much because it's low intensity and won't place as much stress in your body to see as much muscle gains or as big of an improvement in your body composition. And with that said, I'm not in any way saying LISS is ineffective, because although it doesn't place a lot of stress on your body in comparison to HIIT, that's not necessarily a bad thing overall. As with HIIT, as with LISS, your body isn't as stressed as much and doesn't need as much time to recover, so you can perform it more often. Whereas with HIIT, because it's so demanding and places a lot of stress on the body, along with increasing the risk of injury because of that, you ideally shouldn't be doing HIIT every day of the week, and more recovery is needed after HIIT sessions. So if you enjoy HIIT as a form of cardio, definitely include it in your routine, but only do it 3 or 4 times a week max to get the best benefits out of it, and make sure you have a recovery plan in place so you can reduce the chance of the risk of getting injured and burning out. And finally, there's also other benefits attached to both forms of cardio that aren't just performance and results focused. So both have more aspects that depend on a person's own preferences, such as HIIT offers more variability in terms of allowing you to switch up equipment and your training systems to keep things fun and exciting, whereas this offers more opportunity to get out and enjoy things other than just focusing on exercise, such as getting out in nature and fresh air for a run or cycle, which could be more appealing to you than an intense HIIT session, and it can be the deciding factor in what you choose and what you stick to. So either way, I'd advise trying out both forms of cardio and seeing which one you enjoy the most. And it's also important to note that using the one type doesn't exclude you from using the other type of cardio, and that you can enjoy both HIIT and LISS sessions in your fitness routine, so long as you're recovering and progressing adequately to suit your health and fitness goals. And finally, I just want to go over a few most common cardio mistakes that people make in relation to cardio, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes and continue to reap the best results and enjoyment out of your cardio and fitness routine after hearing these mistakes and hopefully preventing them yourselves. So the first mistake is training cardio for too long. Now, this is applicable to both HIIT and LISS cardio, but in particular it's important in relation to HIIT because it's more stressful on the body. So ideally with cardio, you shouldn't take too long to do it. You should set an amount of time and amount of work you'd like to get done that suits your level of fitness, so you don't risk injury or burning out, and try to stick to that and improve it slightly incrementally as you progress. Now, I know when you're having a good session, it can feel great to put in those extra few rounds of HIIT or 20 or 30 more minutes of LISS because you're thinking about how much extra work you're getting done and extra calories you could be burning or whatever. But it's important to remember that your fitness goals are a marathon, not a sprint, and that those extra few minutes or rounds on one day might feel good in the moment, but might stop you from performing or keeping the volume up across the week because you could burn out or risk injury. So stick to the plan most of the time, and obviously allow the odd session there if you feel good that you want to continue on. You can do that, but just make sure you're not stressing your body too much in the process of that. And the next mistake is training too often. So this kind of ties into the last point in that you should watch the volume and amount of cardio you're training, so you're doing in general. And as I mentioned, LISS isn't as taxing on the body as HIIT, but regardless, you shouldn't try to do more than 3 or 4 maybe sessions each week, as recovery is often crucial in allowing your body and muscles to rebuild itself, which of course obviously contributes to reducing the risk of injury and burning out. And the next mistake is failing to warm up or cool down properly. So this ties into the last point in emphasizing how important recovery is to maintaining your health and fitness. So failing to limber up your muscles before exercise while also ensuring that they cool down correctly afterwards is of course going to help in reducing the risk of injury and burning out as you've prepared and maintained your body correctly for the exercise. So spend those extra 5-10 minutes before and after training working on correcting, stretching out trouble areas or certain tight muscles, and limbering up the muscles you're going to use is not only going to reduce the risk of injury, but it's also going to improve your performance as your body is better prepared to take on the stress of regular exercise on a consistent basis. Like, even just mimicking the movement patterns of your main session at low intensity is going to help you, going to be a big help in keeping your muscles limber and supple so you don't become too stressed from your training. And overall, just recovery is key for helping you to keep up with your fitness routine in general. And finally, the last mistake, and this is again particularly in relation to HIIT, is using too much equipment. So of course HIIT is a big benefit, and a pro to that is being able to use more equipment. However, this option can be tempting to add in a lot, like different exercises and equipment for the sheer fun of it. And that said, doing too many exercises or things at one time is not only more taxing on your body, but it can increase the risk of injury and burning out, and it also makes things more complicated than they need to be. So doing simpler movements, especially when they're being performed at that higher intensity, is likely going to be more than enough in helping you to get what you want out of cardio. So try to keep things simple and enjoyable for yourself, in that it's something you can look forward to and doing, so you'll be more likely to stay consistent with it. And that pretty much covers the differences between HIIT and LISS and the basics of cardio, its benefits, and what style you should be using depending on what suits your goals, your lifestyle, and your preferences. I'll leave an article in the show notes that links to how to build your own HIIT routine or HIIT session. And that's covered everything pretty much. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week for a new episode. Bye.